Hello and welcome to another one of our education videos, and this one's about this one's quite a good one actually today, where I'm going to go into what I discuss with our clients almost every week, and this is where we say we want to try and raise your level above life's requirements. So um, the purpose of this video is to try and educate you more on more effective ways to train, highlight what should be the goal with every workout. I'm going to explain why most rehab programs fail, and why they may even actually cause more problems than they solve. But the main reason is to teach you to always be looking at raising your training level to new heights. And I'm going to explain in a bit more detail what that means, regardless of age, regardless of your current goal, whether you're a spinal injury or your sport performance, it doesn't matter. All right, so I'm going to go into good detail about this. What most strength training programs try to do is increase strength and overall muscle mass. I have no problem with that. That's great. I'm trying to do the same thing with everyone that I see too. They're also trying to help you look good by increasing metabolism, lose body fat. That's all good. In my opinion, it's more of a byproduct of doing things like eating good food, getting to bed on time, reducing your stress, exercising enough but not too much. Fitness, I don't really try to improve fitness until the very end, after you've done everything that you should have been doing in the first place. Where most people use fitness methods to get healthy, I'll use health methods to get fit. All right, so it's a complete different story, but we'll go into that on another video another time. Why the traditional methods fail is because there's a muscle focus. They train the body in isolation when the body only knows movements by the brain and the nervous system. It doesn't understand its little toe from its little finger. It just knows sequences of movements, how to pick up this, how to move that, how to push this, how to lift that. It doesn't break things into robotic functions, which is what the traditional methods do, even in the rehab world. Most of the traditional methods treat symptoms. So in the rehab world especially, it's treating symptoms. Even in the non-rehab world, it's still treating symptoms, because it's sort of saying, I need to be, I'm not very strong here. What's something that can fix that spot that I'm not good at? As opposed to looking at the big picture and working out, okay, the reason you're not good there is because of this, all right, which leads to the next thing. If you won't find that out if you're not using tests, or if you're using cookie cutter methods, which is like templates or being in classes. There's no way everyone could be following the same program. We're all so different. It's impossible to be working on the same things. So you may in fact be making yourself worse by following someone else's program. And most of these exercises train the body at a level that's lower than what you need in life. And I see this all too often with people coming to see me the first time, and I ask them, what have you been doing? All right, so functional methods use, as opposed to a muscle focus, we use a brain focus. So we focus on the movement patterns. We know that the brain produces these motor programs that produce movement, so we try to enhance them and make them better than they've ever been, and make them automatic. We look for the cause of problems and weaknesses within the body by using tests and assessments for every single thing we design. So there's no guessing as to the reason the exercise or the stretch is being given to you. There's a purpose for it that's been determined by a test that we would have established that needed it. And last thing, our goal is exceeding the life's demands in the training environment. If we know you have to walk around, pick things up off the floor, or pick up grandkids. We know you're going to need to know how to do a deadlift of some kind. If the heaviest thing you have to lift is 10 kilos, well, you should be able to lift 15 to 20 kilos, because then 10 kilos is nothing to you. All right. However, in most of the people who we see, they can't even pick up the 10 kilos. They can't even pick up 5 kilos. And they're scared to do it because they're going to hurt themselves. But if they're going to have to do it in life, no wonder they get hurt. No wonder there's severe injury, because they are not capable of doing so. All right, so this is what I mean by life's demands. Your training demands must exceed what you need in life. If your training skill is less than what you need, your training is going to be making you worse, not better. And here's a picture of a snowboarder, right? And a snowboarder must be able to handle all types of skills. For example, using an extreme balance board, we would have to throw things at them. They would have to be doing it off-center squats. They'd have to be doing squats with one dumbbell, with two dumbbells, holding it for long periods of times. All different combinations that if they have problems with the balance board, they will have problems with the snowboard. All right, no two ways about it, because there's a high carryover in the skill between the two um, exercises. Now, what most traditional programs would do is be focused on the muscles. They would train the muscles, disregarding the skills that are required. The leg press, sure, it will improve the muscle mass, but is it muscle mass the big determining factor in what makes a snowboarder good? It's not. The muscle is just one part of a small piece of the puzzle, and in fact, balance and agility and dynamic posture, reactivity and coordination are highly more valuable to you than just strength on its own. These things here actually make you stronger, but training strength like on a leg press, which is just dumb, will actually make these things worse. And why? Because your body would be saying, well, I'm stronger without them. Why do I need to learn them? I can be strong without needing these guys. So you go to a leg press, push 200 kilos, and thinking I'm strong on the snowboard, but you're lacking the skills of these things, it doesn't carry over to the snowboard. You've just actually gone backwards instead of forwards. Now, if you do that for long enough, this leads to, you know what, knee injuries, and that's what we see quite often. All right, so this is where the isolated approach to training is just dumb. All right, so if you need to learn how to do things standing up, and you need to incorporate these skills that typical traditional training does not use. All right, so what if you don't play sports? Well, even working in the garden, walking upstairs, going to work, even just walking on its own still requires skills of balance, agility, coordination, even power. So walking upstairs requires power. None of these skills are used in traditional strength training, and also in Pilates, a lot of these skills are not used, especially power and coordination, agility, because most of the time you're lying down, sitting down, kneeling down. Yet I've never met anyone hurt kneeling, lying, or sitting, but I've met thousands of people hurt standing up. So if you lose the skills to do things like these standing up, then you'll end up as a person who will have to change your lifestyle because you've lost function, or you'll gain an injury in the process of beginning to lose your function. All right, so this is a big part of what we teach our older adults, even people at 80 years of age, how to learn how to move, so they don't lose their quality of life, and maybe even get rid of some of the injuries that they've accumulated. So understanding the raising the level. If this is life's requirement is around about here, right? Traditional training and machine training, Pilates, yoga. Yoga probably to some degree is maybe exceeds some things because it does have quite a tricky element to it. However, I wouldn't regard that as movement skills. A lot of those skills you would never use other than when you're doing yoga. So I still believe you need to incorporate learning how to do things standing up and not holding poses, but learning how you would move in real life. All right, so if life requirement is right on this line here, traditional training, machine training are below the line. So the gap between where you're training and where life needs to be is where you'll accumulate injuries and where you'll start to lose skills like coordination, balance, agility, all these things that you'll need for sports or just even generally work, moving around, doing things that you'll find out later in life have disappeared on you. Whereas if you had been training up at the line up above where the functional training is, you'll find that your skill level will be significantly greater than what you really needed for life. So if you're training at a level that's here, but you only really need to be that good, means you can really never get injured unless you do stupid things, unless you overestimate your ability or get a bit sort of overconfident. But really, if you're smart, you're actually exceeding what you need. So every time you leave the gym, you're dropping down to a level that's easy for you. Now, this is quite often what I see in rehab, which a lot of people come to see me and they walk from their car, they carry their gym bag, and they come in, and then they would go into a rehabilitation program that requires them to lie on their back for the next half an hour to an hour. So then they have to pick up their bag and walk out the gym and go downstairs and walk into their car, which was just getting in the car is like a single leg squat laterally sideways with twisting movement. So the exercise of picking their bag up and walking down the stairs and getting in their car is actually physically more demanding than the training program that they've just completed. So how can the training program take them past the level where they're struggling to learn to do? All right, so injury reduces your ability to be below life's requirement because there's an injury that's changed things. So regressing is necessary, but you must have a constant gradual progression to eventually standing up, especially if you're already walking around. If you're already walking around doing things, you really need to be training at a point where you can be walking around and learning how to walk correctly and bend correctly and do all the things that you can't do. Far too many programs focus on the muscles and just where the pain is, and again, they're just treating the symptoms. You must learn how to move, stop isolating muscles. Pilates, I'm not by all means bagging it completely. I'm a Pilates instructor myself. I just don't rate it that greatly. I have a lot of good friends. I have a lot of good clients who are and I respect them greatly. They really do. So I'm not saying all Pilates people are like this, but there just is a real flaw on the method in that it doesn't progress to standing up and it doesn't add enough resistance in the standing up to change things. All right, so to really give you the idea of what I'm talking about, if you have a problem bending over to pick things up, you injure your back like a herniated disc. How can lying on your back doing this possibly improve this? There is just no, you can isolate your pelvic floor as much as you want. That will not teach you how to do that. You can do as many bridges as you want, and you can do as many planks as you want. It does not teach you how to do that, period. All right, so to learn how to get better at this, you must learn how to do this. You must learn how to do movements and activities that are very similar in the sequence and the timing. That's the only way you can get better at doing that exercise. All right, so I hope that sort of helps you to understand where I'm coming from with all these ideas. So summarizing all this, the training environment allows for controlled situations and conscious activities, which helps you to practice your skills that you do not have. The risk is minimized because it's a controlled environment. All right, so whereas work, sport, home, you're just thinking about what you want to do, not really concentrating on perfect form or technique. You just want to get what you want to get done. Whereas the gym, you can practice the perfect techniques and practice it to a point of where it becomes automatic. When it becomes automatic is when it changes everything in your work, your sport, and your home. Remember, your goal is always to train higher than your level of life requirement. I hope that gives you a bit of a background as to where we come from. A lot of the videos, information you'll find, will be plastered all over our website and our YouTube channel. I highly suggest you to go there and check that out. And if you have any questions, there's heaps of free reports, videos, programs, ebooks, everything, and there'll be surely something there that will help you with what you're looking for. If not, get in touch with me and I see if I can help you out. All right. Hope you enjoy the video. See you in the next one.